The people in the east are digging out or washing out of the rain. It's the most rain. And Wilmington, North Carolina has had more rain in a shorter period of time than in the history of that city. And that includes all the big hurricanes that have come through. We'll tell you more about that. But today is an important day. On October the 1st, 1961, our fledgling little television station called WYAH went on the air. We were 3 hours late because we didn't have the money to get the thing on the air. And I'm serious. And the chief engineer didn't think we were going to do it.
Wow.
So he didn't believe we could do it. So he just didn't get the stuff ready.
But you did it.
3 hours late, but we went on the air. Oh, it was a mess. But hey, we started. The Bible says, despise not the day of small beginnings, as we had a small one.
Absolutely, but look where we are today. So today, listen, we're going to celebrate this anniversary with a look back at our very beginnings, the small beginnings, a little bit later on today's show. But first, in the news, as Pat said, many people along the East Coast will spend the weekend cleaning up after record rainfall this week.
People were praying for rain. There was a drought, and any fears of a drought along the long, hot summer have been washed away by the heavy rainstorm. Amazing what's been happening the last few days. Jennifer Wishon has that story.
Some regions received more rain in hours than they typically receive in months. In Wilmington, North Carolina, more than 22 inches fell over 5 days. And in Jacksonville, North Carolina, 12 inches in 6 hours made up nearly a quarter of the city's typical rainfall for the year.
A lot of rain, a lot of rain.
We needed rain, but this is ridiculous. But the good Lord knows what he's doing.
Within an hour, maybe hour and a half, there was 4 or 5 foot of water here.
A family of 4 was killed in the central part of the state when its vehicle skidded off a rain-slicked highway and plunged into a flooded ditch. Another driver is believed to have drowned when his truck plunged into a swollen river. In Washington, D.C., a family was rescued from their vehicle as it started filling with water on a flooded street.
The water was coming in so fast till I knew I was done.
The long, hot summer that saw very little rain has come to a soaking wet conclusion. Residents who just days ago complained of dry, cracked lawns now have waterfront property. This man's Maryland tire business is underwater.
It was just fast. I mean, we had no time to really pull some of the vehicles out. We did what we could do.
Strong winds are expected to follow the rains that are settling into the Northeast today. The effects of the storm will likely be felt for several days as streams and rivers work to absorb all the rain that's fallen. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Thanks, Jennifer. Apparently it was a pipe that came all the way from down in Florida where there'd been a, hurricane type thing. And the wall came in from the west and blocked work from the ocean, and it was sucking this enormous amount of water right up the East Coast. And it's not over yet. I think up in Pennsylvania and up in New England, rivers are at flood stage, and I don't think the flooding is over yet. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Pat, is we got to remember, we got to be careful, especially when you drive, because you think, oh, I can drive through that street because it's just a little bit, and that's when people really get in trouble. Yeah.
Just got to be careful what you pray for.
Oh, no.
Lord, send the rain. No, stop.
Maybe that too.
Well, Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN newsroom. Lee, what do you got?
Pat, a controversial attack ad by a liberal Florida congressman seems to be backfiring. Democrat incumbent Alan Grayson is running against Republican Daniel Webster, a Bible-believing Christian. A recent television commercial for Grayson called Webster, quote, Taliban Dan.
I'm Congressman Alan Grayson, and I approve this message.
Religious fanatics try to take away our freedom in Afghanistan, in Iran, and right here in Central Florida.
Wives, submit yourself to your own husband.
Daniel Webster wants to impose his radical fundamentalism on us.
She should submit to me. That's in the Bible.
Webster tried to deny battered women medical care and the right to divorce their abusers.
Submit to me.
He wants to force raped women to bear the child.
Submit to me.
Taliban Dan Webster, hands off our bodies and our laws.
But it turns out that Webster actually said the opposite. Webster was speaking at Bill Gothard's Institute for Basic Life Principles, and here's what he did say.
I have a verse for my wife. I have verses for my wife. Don't pick the ones that say she should submit to me. That's in the Bible, but pick the ones that you're supposed to do. So instead, you'd love your wife, even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. And as opposed to, wives, submit yourself to your own husband. She can pray that if she wants to, but don't you pray it.
Grayson has refused to apologize, and a new poll shows Webster leading Grayson in this race 43 to 36%. By the way, Pat, Daniel Webster says he will not return in kind. He's not going to go after Alan Grayson and do the negative attack ads.
This is Florida. They're not going to buy that kind of rhetoric and that kind of bigotry and that kind of distortion. And that is clear, blatant distortion. I think that man just killed himself. I heard of another instance, and I won't go into it right now, where somebody insulted me and Jerry Falwell, and I said, well, he just lost the primary, and lo and behold, in state after state after state, boy, he just went right down. You just can't do that kind of thing, even in the United States in today's world. You can't get away with it.
The new health care law is going to lead to a shortage of doctors, according to the Association of American Medical Colleges. The new law provides health insurance for 33 million more Americans, but there will not be enough new doctors to cover all of them. Experts say that the situation could improve, though, if funding is increased to train more doctors. Scientists are making progress in a method of creating stem cells without using embryos. Doctors at Children's Hospital in Boston have been fine-tuning the procedure since 2007. They say they can now reprogram skin cells that appear virtually identical to embryonic stem cells. Experts are praising the procedure as a breakthrough, and opponents of human embryonic stem cell research call it the most convincing evidence yet that there are sufficient alternatives to using embryos. Christians from around the world traveled to Jerusalem this week to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. The International Christian Embassy brings thousands of believers there to unite with Israel. Chris Mitchell has their story.
Some 5,000 Christians from 80 nations came to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles this year.
The Feast of Tabernacles is that one biblical feast that involves the nations as a principle. We see that in Zechariah 14.
Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat told a packed auditorium about his city, even as the international community would like to divide it.
Ideologically, Jerusalem is the heart of the world. You cannot divide a heart. You cannot divide a heart. It will never work. Practically, there's not one example in the world of a split city that ever worked.
Many Israeli leaders praise the Christian support.
It gives us lots of power and energy to see such support from all over the world to a united Jerusalem. And I came here to say thank you to the people that came.
ICEJ Director Malcolm Heading says it shows the impact the Christians have.
It gives voice to the fact that over years of engagement, faithful engagement from the Christian world, the Jewish world, from its highest echelons of government to its grassroots people, recognize the importance of this worldwide global constituency, particularly as Israel moves into an increased time of isolation.
CBN President Michael Little spoke at the feast. This is his 50th trip to Israel, and he feels the feast is like a taste of heaven.
It's kind of like heaven, because you hear all of these languages and you see all these people from different countries. They're all talking about Jesus, and they're talking about their relationship with other Christians, they're talking about God.
The pilgrims come for many reasons.
I came to the Feast of Tabernacles because it's the Lord's own covenant with the people of Israel.
We just come and in solidarity with the Jewish people, to come and bless them and come and support the Jewish people.
I come because it's an exciting time to be in Israel, and it's refreshing just to be with so many people from all over the world that are worshiping the Lord, and to bless Jerusalem.
I come because of my great God. I wanted to see this place where he lived, where he died. It's a big blessing to be here, and I want to come to be part of this great big feast, because worshiping our God with one voice in unity, my heart is longing for it.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And this Sunday is the day of prayer for the peace of Jerusalem. You can find out more about that by going to our website at cbnnews.com. Pat?
Thank you. That's wonderful. You know, the Feast of Tabernacles is the only Old Testament feast that has not been fulfilled in the New Testament. It's the only one that's still open. And it speaks, in my humble view, about the second coming of the Lord. It's the final ingathering, the final harvest. And that hasn't happened yet, but it's on the way. So when people begin to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles, they in essence are saying, even so, come, Lord Jesus. Christy.
That's beautiful.
Heavy rain has led to mudslides throughout Mexico. Mexico had 3 days straight of intense rain from what was left of a hurricane. More than 800,000 people have lost their homes because of the mudslides and flooding, and 36 people have died. This is Mexico's rainy season, but officials say it is the worst on record. Harsh living conditions in northern Peru are making it difficult for people to get adequate health care. But Operation Blessing has been in the Lamas province, helping native Indian communities. Recently, OB held a health campaign at the Renacer Obstetric Center. It was a special one-day medical mission to provide much-needed care. Nearly 270 patients were treated, and anti-parasite medication was given to 500 people. And you can find out more about Operation Blessing by going to their website at ob.org.